and then get a lot of.
I forgot to do the introduction.
Right. Not now.
Yeah, I'll do it now and then I'll edit it in. Anyways, good evening. Welcome to Game Chat and Chill. I'm Eric. This is
Shane.
This is Deranged Dave.
Huh?
And you'll notice we have a new guest. This is my son Matthew. Say hi.
Hi.
And today we're just gonna sit here and game chat and chill. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Some stuff I guess you could say, but
Yeah, I gotta try to be a little tame with what he said, but let's just say dudes look like dudes, and then the other ones look like who they were supposed to look like.
Right.
And other people were like, "What you mean the characters are actually appealing?" I can't imagine both ways. Mm-hmm. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, just some.
Well, there, there is still, yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to.
I mean, anything.
I don't want to be
go
overly
overboard, but at the same time, I mean,
But there's a reason why the game is doing what it's doing, not just because of the gameplay, but the characters are actually what people want.
Right, and then as it should.
The designs are too, so it's like.
That's what I like about games when they have that, regardless of anything else thrown in there. If it's a personality thing, okay, then it makes sense. But at the same time, it's just not
don't really change the character just because you don't want to offend somebody.
The story's a story. You can tell when you can a cup of water getting hit with a fire line.
Yeah. So that one's a free to play game too, where you can buy the characters, right? Is that how that works? I haven't
ventured too far into it. I've downloaded and started playing a little bit. But right now, I've just been really either Call of Duty or Dragon Age, Veilguard right now. Actually, now it's actually Baldur's Gate 3 that I'm playing.
That one is supposed to be a really good game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's you're gonna have I like the whole Dungeons and Dragons turn-based stuff. So then you can really get into whether it's the environment or anything thrown in there, and you really gotta. Move by move, think about what you're doing. I like that because then it's a strategy thing.
A friend, back in the day of the old PC games, the old Baldur's Gate where it's over the top, like the old, he played those things all the time, all the different ones. He loved those things. I was just like, those games, that's old school. You try to play it now like that. But
well, that's what's cool about it because there's certain things that you got to do. The only thing that I found so far that I haven't liked with it is because I have a wizard, and so regardless of the class, there's certain.
That's got stuff in that now, garbage.
I
would need a coffee mug if I got coffee. Sorry about that.
I
put my banana peel in there.
There's certain actions that I'm doing, whether it's a chest unlocking or a door or whatever, or a conversation, where there's certain time when you have the dice and I roll, and it's like there's things where it's like getting a high number, and it's like you don't need a high number, but then when I actually need it, you're like below by like 2 or whatever, but dexterity and all gets thrown in, it's like, why? But it's fun. But it, regardless of it, even though that happens, you still have your either works or don't. Either way, how it goes, that's how the story goes, and then how you react and adapt, and so that it makes it easier when it just goes your way. But when it don't, okay, what do you do? And then you get something else thrown in there, and a curveball is kind of fun.
Okay, what kind of RPGs do you prefer? The ones where they were old school, roll the dice. You don't understand what I mean by that, right? Where you have characters, and then you come up and you pick something, and then they do an action against the bad guys. And then they do something, and then they attack you or do whatever. Or do you like the stuff where it just freely opens up to whatever you can do, like Skyrim or Fallout, or even how probably the new Baldur's Gate is? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I guess
Final Fantasy used to be, and how they made it in.
I guess it depends on the game and how it goes. Like, I don't mind.
Like the old school,
I guess this is a different game, but when it comes to stuff like that, it's kind of like, say, like Magic the Gathering. I mean, based on specifically, or I wish they went. I wish they wouldn't have got rid of that. I like that, but anyway, back to with the actions and stuff. Just buy.
Yeah. Okay. So I do it at coffee. Right?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I know that's kind of like a lax answer, but
no, it just depends on the game too. Like it's story in the game, and everything else.
I guess I like it when it's a little bit more free when I'm just
like just
playing.
You can just attack a guy anytime you want to attack him instead of just.
But then really playing and doing it seriously, then and you got time to do it, then.
Because this is a good game that's based on the old roll the dice game. Basically, you have characters and you build them up, like RPGs do. But you come across an enemy, and then you got to pick an action, and then they do it, and then they do it. Yeah, then they do it back.
And
It was
based on those,
Lord of the Rings Third Age for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. They take side characters that are in the books, and they go through the movies, the trilogy of the movies. That game's actually really good because it's like the old Final Fantasy games with regular how characters were not like little tiny pixelized characters, but
right.
but it's basically the old school how RPGs were, not just open. I'm gonna hit this attack button over and over again. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. But
There's a time and place.
it just it just depends on what kind of game you want to play, and there's a lot to that game too. It'd be one of those games we wouldn't be able to play on here because they're probably copyright for the music.
Well, like Terra, I mean, there's free games and stuff that's out there that even if you don't play with it, it's very high open world and it's cool. There's some other games too. I should have wrote them down, but there's a lot that are free that you can play too. It's neat. I'm trying to think of this other one that I got into. What is it? Let's see if I can find it here. I actually got it not too long ago. Sorry. Playing PTs.
You gotta play through. Oh, it's only half the playthrough, 9 hours worth. Yeah, I was gonna say it takes a lot to beat that game. Let me see if I can show you a little bit what I'm talking about.
Eventually, a laptop will replace this notebook. Once I start getting a little bit better organized, we have it, written down in the
See, it's like that. Like those type of.
Yes. Yep, you have your class, and it goes.
Yeah.
Each you get
You
your
have
turn.
side characters. You got your main character. And you have your side characters. You can build up in armor and weapons.
Well, when doing that, I mean, I always thought those neat because then you got your, you got your ranger, you got your long distance, you got your mage, you got for healing, you got your close combat. Each one has their part to play, and then you got other ones you can switch in there.
It's basically how the
combos.
Yeah, it's basically how the first Dragon Age was like that. It's next to the old Republic, that same style, old school RPG style. Not the which I like those games too. The new Final Fantasy now, it's basically slash, hit a button, different attacks, and it's just more open to what you can do.
I haven't got much with
it's
online.
It's not based of a chance of roll of the dice if your guy's more powerful and picking this option to go against this guy, and they do it back and forth. That's basically what the old school RPG is.
More forgiving.
Just trying to make sure you get all this. Like the mics get all this as well. Trying to be sure.
I don't have my water bottle this week.
Yeah. I mean, eventually I'll replace, get stuff different and better. But I just want to make sure that we all, when we talk, just talk loud.
Yeah. It's funny
so
when
the mics pick this up.
What we were talking about with RPG stuff, as much as like I have the areas that I like, I know that there's those that are a lot more dedicated than me. That's what I lean towards. But I don't know how even say like Call of Duty, being on Prestige into 10 after a month and a half. It's like what?
My friend would keep doing he's the
sarcastic,
but he's the one that got me into playing like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare on PS3. That's he got me playing online, and I'd play online with him. But he would constantly play it all the time when I couldn't, and he would prestige all the time. He'd go up to levels. Oh, I gotta get the gold guns for this, and he'd prestige. He's like, do I want to prestige? Because all my guns are jacked up. I'm like, it's up to you that he prestige.
Yeah.
I'm like, then you'd have to start over again and unlock all the guns again to get back up. But it's like, that's actually where I got my name from. Why I picked it online name. Why I picked it. Deranged Dave. That's why I picked it. Because his at the time is online. He changed it over the years, but originally it was Suicide Steve. So I was like thinking, I'm like, what would be a name that matches up my first name with a thing? That's why I picked. I always kept that.
It's interesting why you say that, because that's the first topic of today's discussion.
What's that?
How did we get our gamer tags? How did we come up with the name for our gamer tags?
Deranged Dave was because of that reason. Call of Duty 4. My friend had Suicide Steve. So I was thinking, okay, what can I pick that's like a name that's same letter D in front of it? So I picked Deranged Dave. Just for
that's
online,
awesome.
For being able to play Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare online.
Well, for mine, so it's a Avenger 20 / however. I think what led me to get that was, let alone with the Marvel stuff coming out with the Avengers, big fan. I had a Dodge Avenger for a vehicle, and Avenger was just the word. So then I left it with 20 because it was in the, in this, time period. So I didn't put anything at the end. So there's 20 and going forward. Yeah.
Matthew, he's had 2 different gamer tags. this is kind of an introduction. This is my son Matthew, and if you guys been watching the videos, the videos that are playing in the background is from his YouTube channel. So if you'd like to check that out, it's Matthew's Epic Gaming is the name of his YouTube channel, and he does some sick gameplays. It's pretty crazy. But he's just starting out, so we're just trying to give him a little boost, give him a little help, show him a little love. Now you have had 2 different gamer tags over the years.
Yeah.
Same account, but when you were able to change it, you changed it. And what was it before?
LBP Matthew TMNT.
And that was something that me and him both came up with because he liked Little Big Planet. His name was Matthew. What was the other one? Oh, and he liked Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was his gamer tag for quite a while, a few years. And then he grew up and changed it to, what is it?
You got graded 41.
All right, now come on, you got to tell us, where did this come from? Because this is just insane talk. This is just words I don't even know.
It all started with me just going around in Battle Royale.
In Fortnite Battle Royale.
Yeah. I'd eliminate them. I'd gritty around them while they're spectating me. And I'd say you got gritty.
So what is gritty? What does that mean?
It's an emote.
It's an emote for Fortnite. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is what everybody started like associating you with. Is that what everybody started associating you with because you were doing that? So then you're like, hey, I'm going to name myself that.
Yeah.
All right. So with me, there's a little bit of a story. I've actually got 3 different screen names. The original, when PlayStation first came out, it had only been out for a month or 2, the PlayStation Network, and I had a PS3. So some of the first couple of games I played, man, didn't have trophies. So when the PlayStation Network came out, then all of a sudden like all this other stuff started coming out, and then trophies was part of it, and then I had come up with a gamer tag. So my old nickname, because I worked at McDonald's, the other guy I worked with, his name was Eric. There's 2 Erics, and because I was so good at, my eyesight was so good that I'd be able to spot something in an instant. So they call me Jedi, not Jedi as in Star Wars, but Jet, Jet.
Yeah.
Because I was so fast at spotting. I can spot a dime on the side of the road going 55 miles an hour and tell you whether or not it was on heads or tails. So like that was just kind of, so they called me Jedi because they wanted to be able to distinguish between the 2 Erics working.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's just random. That's what I named it, as Jedi 2. And then I started getting into Burnout Paradise. And as I was playing, I was like, in Burnout Paradise, you have to understand you're taking people out all the time. Like it's like Call of Duty, but it's a car version. So when you crash them, you guys have all played it. When you crash them, it acts like a kill.
Yeah, they
And
have
when you
trophies
crash,
and-
it's a death. So that's how their concept of the online multiplayer worked. And so I'd spend many a night just because you're going 500 miles an hour pretty much the whole entire game.
Mm-hmm.
So I only have one eye that works well, and so I call myself one-eyed trucking.
trucking along.
Yeah, because I'm trucking along, going fast, and
Yeah.
smashing into people. So I made a different account, named myself One-Eyed Trucking, and it's been my account name ever since. But then for the 3rd account, which was called Snipe You 2, was back in the same time era, and I started playing Warhawk, which is a good game back in the day.
Yeah, people
for PS3,
Yeah.
PlayStation 3. Good. It was PlayStation's first online multiplayer. Was it 3rd-person shooter?
Yeah, it was a 3rd-person shooter,
Yeah.
getting the vehicles and all that
It was
stuff.
the first one. It was amazing. I wish they'd
It's
bring it
kind of
back.
similar to Halo.
Yeah, it's one of the first games he started playing too. Besides my PSP, but So anyways, so I started playing that with my One-Eyed Trucking account, but then I realized once you got to a certain level, they would put you into a room with better people, and you just die and die and die and die and die and die and die. So it was pointless to even play. So then I made sure that because in order to level up in the game, you have to do challenges. So I made sure I only got to a certain point in the game and stayed there.
Right.
And then I could play, and it was fun. I died, but it wasn't like dying playing with all these crazy sniper people. So I made a separate account, named it Snipey2, and I started playing Warhawk on that account. And then that's the account I stuck with for that game for the next 2 or 3 years. So Those are my stories. I have tons of stories, but that's my stories for that.
Now you got me thinking about Call of Duty 4 playing with my friend online. He liked playing hardcore. So where you could shoot your teammates. Oh, by
Oh
accident.
wow!
But we'd always get that random guy that would start shooting his teammates right off the bat.
Oh,
When we
man,
spawn
yeah.
in to do death matches or stuff. But I remember all the times that even some of the guys that we played with, even randomly, would be cool with the fact of the matter if you had that one guy that just wanted to irritate everybody. we would start spamming the guy every time he showed up to kill him.
Didn't take long.
The whole team.
Right.
And that guy would quit real quick.
Yeah.
Because then he's like, oh, I'm killing you.
Oh,
You're not supposed to kill your teammates.
Yeah.
But that's the hardcore would let you do that. Friendly fire would be part of it. So you got to be careful with where you're shooting. But my friend I didn't like playing hardcore that much. Not because I couldn't do it, just didn't like the random person showing up on your team. It's like, didn't play the other team. But yeah, that was like, it made me think of like, even with the gamer tag, why we would do what we were doing. And then I would people didn't like the grenade launchers. Oh, it's too cheesy. You got real good at it. You could use a grenade launcher without no.
Right.
So yeah, I'm trying to. Now it got me thinking about other online because I know you like playing a lot of Fortnite and different. What game were you talking about that you were telling me that you've been playing? That was an online shooter too that you were playing.
Yeah, what was that?
Fortnite. What was that?
Like a different game than.
Yeah, I remember a couple weeks ago I was talking to you. I was asking you about Fortnite, but you were playing something else. You and your friends were playing something else. What was it? You remember? Because I know you play Fortnite quite a bit, but
What the heck
was it
that?
Apex or something else?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I don't remember because I know there's a lot of stuff that
It
people
was-
bring out. Apex is one of those
It's like
games
an
I'll play
off-brand.
with a couple people, but
It's like
What was the first person shooter?
I don't remember what it was. You said you were playing it online or something.
Yeah,
I was talking to you at church.
it's
and you were
similar to
asking about-
Fortnite.
Yeah, it was
Is it
similar to
Apex?
Fortnite. It wasn't
No.
Apex Legends, right?
No.
'Cause that's the first
I
person
can't remember
shooter.
what the heck it was. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably because you played that more than anything else, right? You played
Yeah,
Fortnite.
Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite. But I did get him into the Black Ops 6, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and just like with Fortnite, he's destroying everybody. It's a race for first and second place between me and him. Well, if we're on a good server.
Yeah.
Lately, we've been on crappy servers just for I don't know why. Probably because everybody's taking advantage of double XP.
Mm-hmm.
But in
Yeah.
the past few days, we've had nothing but crap days in the rooms. It's like,
Mine wasn't too bad.
well, then maybe I just suck now. I don't know.
It just depends on probably what time of day you're playing it too, because you might get those random people that are playing. But
You ever get into like Tower of Fantasy, Genshin Impact, or
Usually, it's my first few matches.
I know you're talking about Genshin Impact. I played that before.
you know, Tower Fantasy?
I'm trying to. That's probably the game besides Modern Warfare 2 for PS3 that I played the most online. To be honest with you, my friends, we had a couple of friends that would play on PS3 Modern Warfare. The first one, Call of Duty 4. They changed it. Took
The
the 4 off
names
over the
confuse the
years.
crap out of me.
But Call of Duty 4 was the first time they went into Modern Warfare. That's why they call it
Okay.
Modern Warfare. Other stuff was World War II stuff. The first 3 games. Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern. It still, in my opinion, still has the best story out of all the games too. Out of all the Call
Which
of
one?
Duty games, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the first one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Oh, that
story
set
for
the
that,
tone
the
and everything.
stages and stuff. They had the one stage where you're in the A130
Yeah.
raining down. Oh, toast, and you're raining down like cover
That's the
fire.
big one,
That
yeah.
that one's. But like Modern Warfare 2, where they added the dual
PC.
stuff and running all over the place. We've seen some crazy stuff. I remember playing with my friend Steve seeing crazy stuff because you always see the replay when you get somebody takes you out. They show you the replay.
Yeah.
He remembers one time. I remember seeing it. He was playing, and some guy. And at that point, they had the throwing knives you could throw, and some guy just randomly decides to over the other side. They're like, ugh! Like, how'd you
Yeah, it's like grenades.
kill
now.
me? Like, yeah, like how'd you from all the way on the
Yeah.
other side of the thing
Yeah.
kill a
That just-
dude?
That just happened.
That makes
to
you
me.
think somebody hacked the games or did
Best
something
play.
cheesy now at this point.
That just happened to me in Black Ops 6 the other day. I spawned and I blew up. And then I watched the replay and I'm like, what the heck just happened? Because I couldn't understand what happened. And the guy spawned on the other side of the map. He just spawned, took a few steps, and just threw the grenade up in the air. Then
Mm-hmm.
it went on the other side of the map and blew me up on spawn. I should have saved it.
You gotta love that stuff.
I'm like, what the heck is this crap? I was just shaking my head.
I did that a few times in COD 6.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've done it. The one time I got a triple kill with a grenade when I did it, but I threw it at B from the spawn point. I threw it at B, and then I started running because sometimes if you don't run to catch up to the grenade, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And I got about halfway there, and all of a sudden it came out bloop 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 bloop. Came up 3 grenade kills.
Usually better with a thermal grenade or the Simtac, usually for those type of ones. Depending on the
Yeah, I used to. Depends on the game. I swap between the was it Semtech or Semtrex? The sticky grenade and then
the sticky grenade, the C4,
depending on the maps.
Yeah, Modern War. We had back in the original playing Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare online. I figured out with the sticky grenades or sticky stuff, and then you can boop, detonate them.
Yeah,
you can look straight up.
Yeah.
If a guy was in a building and he's sniping from a second floor, or killing guys, they had a glitch in there where you could just look straight up, and you could just throw it up there, and it would stick right up to the wall where the guy is, and go right in the window. And you could boom. I used to be able to make guys really irritated with that because I figured out you could do that online.
That's crazy.
Just for funny with the topic that we're talking about right now, does anybody what comes to mind when you hear this?
Oh my gosh!
Anyone?
Last of Us.
It's a bomb. It's a bomb.
It's sticky grenades.
It's a bomb.
Sticky grenade.
Splinter Cell.
Oh, Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking something different.
I thought you were talking about the clickers for a second.
Oh no, that's just a click to distract them.
In a
boom.
I remember that.
It's in a movie though, ain't it? Like that's a grenade. Is it one of the Sylvester Stallone movies? Yeah, it's one of the guy goes crazy in the first one.
Was Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, I know it was in I know it was in a James Bond movie because the guy kept using the pen that James Bond had. He kept clicking it. The nerd.
Oh yeah, yeah. That could have been.
And James Bond's looking at him like,
or no,
he clicks it too many times and then diffuse it. It was the bad guy who was using the nerd guy that was doing the stuff, and James Bond's just looking at him like they didn't know it was a bomb. The guy who took James Bond's pen and he kept clicking.
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
He's like,
I remember that.
Then he realized he didn't do the click to turn it off again, and he's like, oh, boom!
No. I was just thinking Sam Fisher, just secret grenade and then distract him.
Yeah,
sell stuff.
I still love the fact that you could do that and call it the window thing. The guy's up on the floor, just looking straight up on the screen, and then.
See, that was fun too because during that time, because like after I, with some of these games before I got back into the console game, was actually PC. So when I was, that was fun. Modern Warfare, because that was just post, Duke Nukem and Modem to Modem.
Love the stages.
Moto.
I love the stages.
Modem to Modem. Well,
no, I was just saying that was from a movie, a cartoon movie. What's that? Moto. Doom.
Oh, Jojo.
That was the one with remember the hippopotamus and the giraffe and the lion?
Madagascar?
Yes.
Madagascar.
Is that what it is? Yeah. They call me Moto.
Got to move it.
Remember? Move it. They go to Africa? Yeah.
Oh, I miss the penguins, especially their holiday Christmas special.
I got out of that. I thought the first couple movies were kind of cool, but then I just it's kids.
Well, then it stays on. It's kind of like Lion King with the animals. It's just
like the first couple was okay,
cool,
and then I was like, no more.
Yeah. Some stuff people just watch or play out of nostalgia too.
Yeah.
Well, if it's something that works out there, what they're going to highlight.
Okay, here's a cool question for everybody. You can even join in on this one too, maybe. Okay. If you could collect one complete console and games, what system would it be and why? Like I still don't even know. Let's you guys go.
This is a rough one. Want to go first?
Whoever can come up with the answer first can say.
I wish I could. Like I was telling you earlier, I wish I had because I still had that. I never traded it in, but my friend wanted to because his system broke at the time. He had to replace his PS3, so he wanted something to play. So I let him borrow my old school Genesis with a Sega CD and everything. Had the games, physical copies, had Master System stuff. I wish I still had my Genesis with the Sega CD connected with all the games still, because you could play Master System and everything else if you had the adapters and stuff. That's one I wish I had, just from a standpoint, because I was even looking at stuff you're asking me to look up games.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's a lot of fond memories and a lot of angry gaming too, where you're, throw this, how did I die that many times? But like, it probably would be, just because I have a lot of fond memories and the games are still fun, would be probably Sega Genesis with all the stuff, with the Sega CD and everything that came with it. That's
Sega CD.
Yeah, or Sega Genesis would be. There's a ton of stuff that's still worth playing nowadays that people. So, and Sega needs to bring back some of these franchises like they're starting to do. But there's a ton of stuff they can do.
But, yeah.
I'm gonna go with PS5 just because it's the newest.
Yeah, but there's not many
you know-
titles for it.
No, not yet.
You
I
at
mean,
least
it's still going. I
You
mean,
can at least play PS4 games on it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
all your
yeah.
digital stuff. Yeah. So
I mean, with the backwards compatibility with other things, I mean, I know that's probably it's like the answer I want to give, but the answer I don't, because there's so much with the other consoles, and especially with even if it was a PlayStation 2. I mean, let alone the Nintendo and fond memories, just like everybody else with those. It's hard to just stick with one. But as far as right now, because of having a PlayStation membership, having the catalog, and having access to a lot right now, that works for me for functionality. Plus, my son, he uses a portal when I'm not on. And also, I guess that's a big standout for me for that multiplayer.
What about you? You don't have very much experience with very many systems yet, but you haven't been around as long as we have.
I'm debating on Xbox or Nintendo.
The old school, or which one? Because there's Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Yeah,
So which one you're thinking?
I was thinking Xbox One.
with it, you can play all the backwards compatible stuff too with it.
Yeah. Yeah, might as well.
It's just when you can just pick one when you have them, and then when you feel like you have it. I guess that's another one because I don't have other systems as much as I like. I got like the PlayStation. It's mainly them. All the other Nintendo, Coleco, Atari, all the stuff that I used to play, I don't have. But as far as the whole line or fleet with PlayStation, those are ones that I have. So I guess it's fine.
I think I just for nostalgia wise, I think I'm just gonna have to go with that Atari 2600.
That was your first experience.
It's my first console, but I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of games that I liked, maybe 5 or 10, but just because it's simple.
Yeah.
And you can pick up, you can pretty much pick up any game and play any game on that thing, probably. As far as I know,
that's a fun thing about like Donkey Kong.
It's
Yeah,
really-
it's not like you're playing to conquer it. You play it, but then you can keep on playing it. It's always that challenge to get from here to there, and it's so simple. It's quick, but it's enough to keep you engaged and do it over.
That's
and
part of the
over
reason
and
I like
over and
fighting.
over
That's
again.
why I like fighting games, because to me it's like, oh, you're beating like mutual friend that we have. He's just like, why do you like fighting games? It's like fighting games so much because it's like you play it and you're done. It's like, but you can keep playing and you can get better at guys, and then you can learn different guys, and you can keep playing. To me, it's like a never ending.
Yeah, because
it's like with sports games, you can just keep playing and build it up. If you had certain sports games,
Well, see,
it's
that's
just like
that's
how I feel about fighting games.
Even with the arcade, that's what made it fun because even if you knew the moves, you knew the characters, depending on who you played, you could it better or worse. It's a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, if you always take something you learn from it, even if especially if you lose, if you're learning from it. But even if you win the next, but you always got to be ready to someone better.
You could always get better at stuff too with your timing and pulling moves off and everything else.
I think that's why I liked the Mortal Kombat franchise in the beginning, because like I didn't really care too much for Mortal Kombat 1. I went back to play it, and it's just kind of cheesy.
Yeah, comparatively too. Yeah, definitely.
And then two is always whatever. I think that was like my first real love of the game for the Mortal Kombat series. So I think that's always gonna hold a spot in my heart for that. But I just liked because I always started off as Liu Kang, but then I would get all his moves down, and then I would move to I'm drawing a blank now.
Forward punch, forward kick is the moves. Basically, is what you can do.
I learned all of his stuff, his fatalities, and then I would move on to Sub-Zero, and then Raiden, obviously, and then and then who's that? Is it Shang Tsung?
Scorpion?
Oh yeah, Scorpion. Yeah, I forgot about Scorpion. And then Shang Tsung, isn't he the shapeshifter?
Yeah,
yeah.
The sorcerer.
So like I think I was telling you this is the thing I like to do, and I did this in Mortal Kombat 2 a lot. And I think maybe even Mortal Kombat 3 is I would play Shang Tsung because I got good at him, but then because I would use the other characters, say Liu Kang or Kitana, or Melina, whatever, I would play Shang Tsung. But then when it came time to do the finish him, I would change into the other character,
so you can use their,
and then do their fatality. And that I would blow people's minds by doing that. It's like, how did you do that? But I don't know. It's just something that I would practice.
You do it because you let you do that because you can change the guys.
Yeah, because I would practice for hours. But then once I get done learning everything from that character, I could always move on to the next one. And then with Mortal Kombat 3 Trilogy and Ultimate, I loved those games because they just had more characters.
Yeah, they added all the characters. Trilogy added all the. It was one of those games that was never in the arcade. It just added for the home system. Let's just throw every digitalized, even from Mortal Kombat 1. They had Mortal Kombat 1 version guys in there that were in the other games. You're like, don't really match up, but hey, it's got all the guys in there. You can use the bosses. Why not?
Or the skins for the classics.
Yeah. They added new, different guys. It was always one of those games on PS1 that was like fun.
I still got to try that, Rambo or Terminator.
Oh, from Mortal Kombat 11.
Are you guys sending signals
Mortal
to
Kombat
your
11,
brain?
right? Yeah, the guest characters.
Because you were just talking about that earlier. Remember?
Yeah, different guest characters and stuff like
Like,
that.
oh no, you're saying which one was better,
Oh,
RoboCop or Terminator?
the
video game?
That'd be a good one. The
video games,
80s clash.
Yeah, the retro.
Yeah,
Spawn.
I showed them RoboCop versus Terminator for Genesis, and they got one for Super Nintendo. The Genesis one's better. But like we were talking about this old school stuff.
I was say, where were we going with that? Because I was going to ask him about it too. Where were we going with that? With the
Well, I don't remember now.
I don't remember now. Do you remember?
What the question was?
Yeah, what we were talking about. And
Consoles
then
and
led
line.
into,
You never answered the question about the con. Well,
yeah,
you did.
it's already
Yeah,
2600.
yeah, that was the last one.
That was the last
Is that
question.
fun?
we
And then,
were
yeah,
asking.
then we started
Well,
talking
then
about.
he did
Different
X1.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
games
X1.
and stuff
We just
like
drifted
that.
off.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay.
I think I'll change mine to the Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you haven't played any games on it.
Yeah, but you can also download 3 different apps. One is the Nintendo 64, where you can just play some of the games.
Online, right?
I think they're just random.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they got the
If you had
online
the
play
Game
where you can
Pass,
play
yeah.
the Game Pass.
I never tried that. The
Genesis.
007 out
The
online.
Super Nintendo.
Yep.
What was the last
Yeah,
one?
but you only get certain games though. You only
They got
have.
Nintendo,
Yeah,
Genesis,
sure.
Super Nintendo, and
Might be
and
Genesis.
64. Yeah, they got Genesis stuff on there too. It's like a Genesis with the online
That's
pass,
cool.
which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
See if
But-
see if the new one's called the Switch 2 or whatever it is, and if it's backwards compatible.
Yeah,
They
that'd
can
be
play
cool.
new hardware. They're saying with the specs.
I haven't
they
even
play-
looked
they
into
play-
it yet. That's one
They
of
can
the.
play new hardware like PS5 or if it could do that kind of stuff with
Yeah.
being backwards compatible. By all means, bring it on.
That's one of the segments I want to get to eventually. One of these days, I have it written down as something to talk about in the future because I don't know anything about it yet. The Switch 2. I just know that it's in production or it's in development.
This had one of my favorite Street Fighter games on it. That's only on the version's only on Switch. Ultra Street Fighter 2. This hand drawn animation redone Street Fighter 2 that they did a few years ago for PS3 and 360, where they hand drew the guys look like anime more.
That's awesome.
But it has Violent Ken in there as an extra guy. So like Evil Ken, basically like Evil Ryu, but it has Violent Ken as one of the
okay.
characters. He has different moves but yeah, it's one of those games that's kind of cool to play on.
That's one thing I like about games is depending on your mood. Really, I mean, you can have something that's hardcore, fighting, sports, whatever. You can go into something that's fun and off the tracks, like Dystopia or something. Play something that's funny or, comedy. It's fine. There's so much stuff that we can get into.
Oh
It's
yeah.
cool, but that can change because, I mentioned with the PlayStation, this Game Boy. Because you see this
Yeah,
stuff,
those
like,
are
what's
Game
this
Boy
about?
Advance.
So let's see what those.
I have original Game Boy, and then those are Game Boy Advance. I
Mhm.
don't know if there's a Game Boy Color game. Oh yeah, Donkey Kong, and there's Game Boy. Or no, that's upstairs. But yeah, let's say I have all 3 versions.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I just mean because with the question like what we would like, it's like there's what I like, but then there's the curiosity too. What's that about? How do you handle that game? What's the challenge on that? What's it about?
When you're talking about like handhelds, not to make me think of stuff. TurboGrafx had one, right?
An
TurboGrafx
handheld?
16, but it played the
Ah,
TurboGrafx
Hook.
16
Oh my gosh.
cartridges
What?
in it. Yeah, they
Nice.
did it back in the day. It was expensive as all could be
Yeah.
because their cartridges for the system were like that
Yeah.
for 16-bit. The TurboGrafx, but they had a handheld that was like this, the screen, but it was expensive as all could be though. I mean, around here, I don't know if it sold a lot, but if somebody had like that, TurboGrafx 16,
That's so-
Mhm.
that's
I
crazy.
remember hearing that.
16-bit, and that's before, and that was like steps ahead of what was going on. But of course, they didn't sell as much because it was expensive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you had both, because TurboGrafx, like, there's a lot of stuff on that fun to play. It's like
All right. So here is a crazy serious topic to talk about.
bring it.
What are your thoughts on the transitioning from cartridge to disc and then disc to now streaming.
Cartridge, like with disc, you could do a lot more stuff. They went into more 3D. The music was better at a certain point because it wasn't just digitized pixel sounding music. You had some awesome soundtracks of the old school stuff. But like one game I always will go to where it's soundtracked, even on old Sega CD, was the Final Fight CD, because it had the same tunes for those games. All the boards had the same tunes, but they had actual instruments. So electric guitar, it's like probably the best version of that game, just because, not just because of the game itself, but the soundtrack. So going from it opened up different things too, because you had more space to put on a disc.
Yeah.
So you had more games were getting better.
Yeah.
That's why PlayStation took off, because 3D gaming took off, and you needed more space on a disc than a cartridge. Otherwise, you had to have adapters and all this other stuff. They had limitations.
Yeah, you learned the PS1 with like Final Fantasy. You got
more
discs.
Now them going to where you don't own anything, basically.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Exactly. I cannot.
I don't mind them having like Game Pass, because it opens up the door where I can play anything anywhere and download it. But if I can, like, otherwise,
as soon as the license agreement's done, then you can't play it.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'd rather have a physical copy. The only reason I would ever buy digital, if it was the only spot I could get it, like old school games, or if it was dirt cheap. Oh, I got Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag for $5 with a DLC. Okay.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'd rather have a physical copy of the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it's that kind of stuff. That's the only reason I would be like, with digital and go in that direction. It's like,
yeah, that's the development world's way of controlling.
Them taking what is their license and saying take it away, so you don't basically don't own it.
Yeah.
That I have a problem.
Because that's like with the PS3. Eventually, you're not gonna be able to play the games you have downloaded to your PS3, because they're just gonna be like, no, we're not gonna deal with it anymore because we're already on PS10.
Right? And the problem with that, the problem, that's why retro gaming is such a big deal, and emulation is such a big deal, because the history of games too, you're gonna lose access, and you can't
get it back.
You will never be able to play those games again unless they re-release them or do something, because you won't have the history of those games.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a physical copy of it or anything else, so it's like it's like you lose out all this stuff of gaming, because it's all about having fun, enjoying the stuff you have, not about some of the games that they make nowadays, but like it's about you have fun with the games. I don't care. That's why it's like old school or whatever. I don't care what it is. New stuff, by all means. If it's fun and you enjoy it, by all means play it. But if you lose access to the games, that's why it's like I was telling you, if I have access to something, if they bring something out like a collection of old school games that you can't get a physical copy of anymore unless you have the old school systems.
Yeah, I never really got the idea of that, because say like for myself, like get a PlayStation membership, you're paying for that. You have your console, you have your memory for it, you're putting it on there, and if you get it and you purchase it, you bought it. After that, nothing should happen. You're the consumer, you bought it.
Yeah, so you think that they're trying to get rid of that.
It's like when certain companies, I'm not going to name them because they're tanking. Because of the decisions they've made with some of the games they've made, and they didn't make any money. They lost hundreds of millions of dollars on it. Their stock dropped. But when they started deciding, before they even started doing them in the last couple of games, that people have a problem with because of the quality of the games and what they did, they started taking away. Oh, if you didn't use our digital copy of the game, we're going to start taking it away from you. And that's the problem. Like, even if you bought it, it's like, wait a minute, you got to take it away.
Yeah.
Well, it's the culture, because it's like if you go in a movie theater, and like, well, I want popcorn, I want a candy bar and stuff like that. It's like, no, you got to get it this way on our terms to be able to get it.
Well, even if you already purchased the game years later, they're like, well, you haven't played it, so we're going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ubisoft.
Yeah. I don't know who the heck's come up with this crap, but I guess it's horrible marketing.
It's not for our
consumer, anyways. Yeah.
So that's a big issue with that whole going from cartridge to disc to now we're totally digital.
I don't like it.
But there was something about it. And
I saw this coming too, like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like on the wall with it. Like, are they going to do it? Then because they were talking about, by a year ago they wanted to remove all the physical copies out of the stores. Yeah. And it didn't happen. So I'm like, oh, maybe they're changing their mind. And then I heard it again that by the beginning of this year they were going to stop. They're going to start
weaning off.
Yeah, weaning off of the
putting
physical,
in motion to force it. Yeah.
And you can tell they're doing that. I mean, there's all kinds of crap they're doing. There's hardly any games coming out anymore. It's just like
I mean, there was
The
part of it.
budgets of games is part of the problem too. They got a little ridiculous if the quality isn't as good. Then it's like
and then you
the
only
same
get
company I brought up. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars, and one of their new games. And they based it off just what the franchise that people like it, which that franchise has been damaged. But the quality of the game isn't that good
yeah.
compared to some of the stuff that was like made 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Graphics,
Sure.
gameplay, and everything else. And you want me to go spend 60,
Right.
$70 on a game that's not as good as something
Well,
that
yeah,
came
but
out 10 years
that's
ago.
not even it. You spend $70 on part of a game.
Yeah.
Right.
Because now you have add-ons. Now, if you want to experience something better with the game, now you got to fork over another $50. Now you got to fork over another $50 6 months later. Now you got to fork over another $50 6 months after that.
Sounds like
And
a
it's
nice
like-
plan. Sorry.
It's like, holy crap! Just give me the stinking game. Like back in the day, you got this is the game.
Save some for the sequel.
I don't mind having them, like, if you have a full game and they add DLC with more characters
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah,
like
like
fighting
Burnout
games later.
Paradise is awesome.
I don't have a problem with that. But if they have stuff where some guys have gotten caught with codes, different, I can't remember certain fighting games, but they basically had the DLC guys already in there, but you couldn't unlock them unless you bought the DLC.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, they're in the base game,
In
but
the
you didn't put them as part of
programming,
the base game? I don't care, like, if you update it with a software update and you add DLC, by all means, I'll pay that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If it gives me a lot more characters, if you already have a huge roster, by all means. Like when they did with Injustice 2, with all the characters they added, by all means, I'll pay for that stuff. DLC, season pass, this with the Turtles and Hellboy and all those other different characters. Yeah, awesome. Doing stuff where guys are already in there and the characters aren't that good, and you want me to pay the price of the game
to get better
Get out of there.
characters, to
Get out of there.
better experience.
No, I don't want
It
to do
sucked
that.
me to do it.
And a lot of gamers have shown that with their wallets.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, way back when you used to go into, depending on the restaurant you went to, if you ordered a soda, you get a free refill. It's little stuff like that. Pardon the metaphor.
So what's next?
But I
on
missed
the
that
list?
with the discs. Going from the cartridge, and now I have a lot of discs. So in a way, I like having the catalog, but again, not having the terms working against me, because I know if they get scratched, they get damaged, or however, when you have, I don't want to put apology with excuse when you have children if they get manhandled and you invest all that money and also down the tubes.
Yeah.
Here's
Things
another-
happen, but when you have a library and you want to, that's
Yeah.
your vault.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to protect it.
It just made me
At all
think of something
costs.
too with the physical and digital.
Mhm.
When companies do the whole, we're going to sell you a physical copy, right? But it's just the case and it has a digital code in it.
Yeah, that's
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 worse.
another thing. That's even
yeah.
like, why even bother
That's a
the
slap in
game-
for
the
me
yeah.
spending,
Yes.
buying the case without a physical?
I found
actual
that out with
physical
the Call
thing?
of Duty. There's the only thing the disc is the activation code to play the game.
Yep.
That infuriated me.
Oh, I love that. They even
face
had the
piece.
disc. Like, I can't remember who did it, but you had the case. You buy the physical copy, but it's just this piece of paper with the digital
It's to
code
get you
on
to
it.
get
Yeah.
it, and then it's like
Like, why would you even bother?
And then some of the games I remember,
microtransactions.
if you didn't have an internet connection, you couldn't even play the game. Remember that? Was
Yeah.
it PS4 or PS3? They started doing. They started.
There was a
You could
few-
tell they started
So was
experimenting
it
with
stolen? It
ideas.
was actually you
There
bought
was
the game
a-
and you had the code to
on the PS3. I can think of one game. It had two games on it, but mainly focused on Final Fight. Capcom put a game out for PS3, Final Fight, the original arcade game, with Magic Sword with it, right? And the only way you could play the game, even if you digitally download it, you had to be connected online.
Yeah.
It's like they wanted to take away game sharing, which I get that. But
Mhm.
if I don't have all of a sudden don't have access to my online, even though I have the game fully downloaded, you won't let me play unless I'm online.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Especially with something that's an old school game, arcade game. Like, give me a break. I paid it. I downloaded the whole thing. It's not like it's like I'm streaming it live like Xbox Pass or Steam, or when Google tried to do the whole streaming gaming thing, and that's all they focused on. But
Yeah, with games nowadays, I mean, it's great in the graphics and everything. They're so much fun, but then it's so refreshing going back to the old school original stuff because it's just cool. They'll never change. It's neat.
All right, so this is something that Shane brought up. This is a good point. Thoughts on party chat privacy? Or privacy? How there's no more privacy in the party chats, and then how far is too far with? I can't read my writing. Monitoring it and invading your privacy. So how do you like that idea that they're listening to our conversations when we're talking, when we're gaming, and they're policing us? So when you play the games now, before you can play the online multiplayer, you have to accept their
Basically,
terms of
agree.
service. You
Yes.
have to agree to it.
Mhm.
That it's okay for them to listen to you. Otherwise, you can't play the game.
Even with apps on the phone, it seems there's a lot of stuff where there's access to your contacts. I mean, this is going off. I don't want to go off the course, but there's a lot that you have to agree to.
It's crazy. Like all these the newer games over the past 3 months have been this way because they made a law or did something where they made it so now Xbox didn't do this. The PlayStation they like made it mandatory that they're listening to everybody's conversation now.
To me, it's
Don't like it
goes
at
along
all.
where they basically trying to police anybody's wrong thing. So if you don't think the same way, that's what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
because it's the DEI people.
It's the wrong wrong think. It's like at a certain point you're not has nothing to do with consumers or anything like that. You're just trying to control how somebody thinks, and it's like, oh, I'm going to that's what it comes down to. Like, I don't want you talking this way or that way, because we've had complaints from one person because they were offended by something that wasn't even meant to be offensive.
Yeah. Right.
Because they got too many complaints by people that don't hardly even game.
Yeah.
On top of that, they don't even game
If
or watch the stuff, and we're going to that territory. But they want to police everything because they make the loudest noise on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook. They make the loudest noise about stuff, but they don't even play the stuff or even watch the stuff.
Exactly.
And then you're basing your consumer base on one small little, not even a percent of the population about like, oh, I don't like how they're going in the Marvel movies or Star Wars. They need to be like this. It's like, and then you're wondering why you don't have any money anymore.
Yeah.
Because you made it
so franchise.
You made it so
I think that's
unplayable, unwatchable, where we got what we wanted. Is because you don't want people actually. It's like the whole idea of like a guy actually enjoying and having a hobby, because somebody else doesn't have a hobby. They gotta dump all over your hobby.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you wonder if it's even valid. Just someone saying something to change something. I mean, anyone could say that. It's like, oh, I don't like that. And
it's like your
whole thing just because of that one comment. I mean, that ain't the venue. If you don't like the game, don't play it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, it's like if you look at history. See, I'm not trying to be political, but if you look at history of them trying to control like your conversations,
to manipulate.
It's like if you look at history, certain
deep dive,
certain political countries and the way they thought did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of free speech either. It wasn't anybody that was based on free speech. Oh, we want free. No, you don't. And if you look at the history of the world, hundreds of years, it's the same thing. And if I went there, it's just to say a guy that has a mustache like this, another guy that had like a slick hairdo that was their country was 4 initials, and they're no longer in existence because they're no longer that, but they're still trying to push that. It either begins with a C word or an S word. And then you have other countries that nowadays it's the same political idea, and you're wondering why, and it has nothing to do with. And it's the same idea with like when you get into entertainment. Entertainment's supposed to be a distraction from everyday life. I don't need you like, oh, because I said a word that you didn't want me to say, where I'm not even meaning to be like a racist or a jerk or trying to offend anybody. But you're trying to like, like have a conversation. Because there's some guys that like I know that use certain words all the time. And they don't mean anything by it, but just how they were raised or how they, whatever, how their personality is. But you're trying to police that stuff by like saying first person shooter or whatever, like online part, like it's supposed to be. I get it.
There should be conditions because, say, like Call of Duty, you hate to say it, but that is a violent game. I mean, yeah, you shoot guns and can say it's fancy, but there are people that could have a problem, and that we need to investigate that had some type of influence.
Yeah, it's just
you need to keep track of that in certain circumstances.
But
these are the terms for safety.
Everybody's
safety.
Trash talking too.
But that's different.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
they even do that in sports now. They don't let NBA players even stare at a dude that he just dunked on a guy, and they tee him up, give him a technical for just staring at a guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like they would have had a hissy fit if Larry Bird or Michael Jordan was playing nowadays because they talk so much trash.
Yeah, that was the
They
real
would
basketball
be
player
kicked.
era.
They would be kicked out of the game for you're being mean. Oh, it's like why he's being mean because he dunked on a guy and just stared
Well,
at
that's a
him.
reversal because before it was a banter because like I'm going to show you up. It's like okay,
Yeah.
you put it on the
Yeah,
court.
'cause it's all
It's
about
the same,
street-
it's the same thing with
street
video
cred.
games. Like you talk trash. Like when we play Call of Duty, there you know how many guys would talk trash because they been dominating or they got a kill streak where they're nuking the whole stage because they got a big enough kill streak. I can't remember, was that Modern Warfare 2 where they brought in the nuke? If you had a big enough kill streak, you could bring the nuke in.
Yeah, they did that again
as a perk.
Yeah,
it's like
we just got nuked the other day.
Yeah,
it's like you know, it's like that's just part of the whole thing. It's like, oh, I'm better than you, and then they talk trash. Some guys are more obnoxious than other people, and you just want to shut them up. But that's part of the whole thing. You can't express yourself. Because some people get upset. Yeah, I get upset too.
I try not to get into it because it just repeats the game.
What do you think? My brother, like I brought up about playing combat as a little kid. We're playing combat at 2600, and every time we play the airplanes, he starts singing Queen's "Another One Bite the Dust." You think I like that as a kid? No. And he would do it because I don't want to bite the
Didn't make you
dust.
try harder though.
Bang. Yeah, but it made me mad.
Yeah.
Made me. Oh wow. But it's like that's what we're talking about. It's like you don't like
The boundaries,
somebody's
the fine line.
Yeah.
And it's a private conversation too. I know you're using. I get it from the network standpoint. You're using their service.
Yeah.
You're using what they have available. At the same time, it's like you really are paying somebody literally thousands of dollars a year to sit there and listen to conversations of police people.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's kind of like having something. I can understand if there's boundaries, you need to moderate and stuff like that. But if you're gonna do any type of parenting for the class, then do it the right way.
Yeah.
Not. That's that.
I mean, Destiny, they started doing something similar years ago.
Activision, started.
What was it, Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, where they were watching, I think it was the first one, where they were watching everybody playing the game to stop the cheaters.
Yeah.
Because people were figuring
you
out.
had hackers
people were figuring out how to beat the bosses because they're harder than heck, but people were figuring out these shortcuts. I mean, some of them they let you get away with, but a lot of them they would change it. You come back the next week and they would change everything on you. So you'd have to beat it, learn it, a different way to do it.
Well, that's the difference between learn how to play the game and then they'll learn. And
but I always thought that was kind of shicey that they were watching you play the game. It's like,
why?
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. Like at a certain point when they did the crossplay, opened up PC cheaters. To be honest with you, because they could do more stuff than
I can understand
stuff,
that. Yeah,
mod stuff more than console players can do. Because there's
real
little
cheaters.
things where they basically, I can't remember if they catch you using, they ban you for life. Basically with first-person shooters, but basically it would automatically lock on to the guy's headshot.
Yeah,
and then boom, and you had guys that were like, how's that guy getting headshot after headshot after headshot? Yeah, there's guys that are that good. But it's like got ridiculous because you're basically lock on to somebody and a certain body part and boom, because it was like a mod you could do with a PC and there are certain, I can't remember what it was, but somebody said a certain device that let you click and shoot, boom. But it's like that takes no skill to do that.
Yeah,
anybody can do that.
Yeah. If you got a home missile,
you can train. You can literally train a little kid. I'm gonna say, or Curious George. Hey, boom! It's like, Mario! Man in the yellow hat.
Bye-bye.
Are they making another Donkey Kong Country? That'd be awesome.
Curious George is like,
oh gosh. Oh gosh.
But yeah, I get it. They're trying to get rid of cheaters like that with PC, but that's what's happens with the cross-play platform. I'm glad they did cross-platform. So you're not just stuck on playing PlayStation people.
Yeah,
I can play Xbox, Switch, mobile, PC
yeah,
people.
I love that.
That's fine, but not everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Not all the hardware is the same.
Yeah.
Because PC, you can do a lot more modifications.
Yep.
Oh, I hate that.
And that's why but the problem is that across the board, well, that guy's too good. He's got to be cheating.
Yeah.
No,
On a
it's lag.
console, yeah, the lag. The internet's not as good. Sorry, mine's better than this guy's, and I'm wondering why.
That's a different episode, especially with
All right, so this question is going to be for kind of sort of for Matthew.
Okay.
So Matthew, you've been most of your gaming history has been Fortnite.
Yeah.
For at least 4 years now. I got him into Fortnite. I downloaded the game and
it was 2017. You showed me the Fortnite loading screen.
now I played it when it first came out. Like the first week, it was still in the beta version of it. So I played that. I played 2 games. And I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world because I'm sitting here in the storm, not knowing what to do, where to go. dying. I ran into the house and I'm trying to hide from the storm and I'm dying in the house. I'm like, what
That's
is
where
going
I'm
on?
at. That's where I'm at with the game.
So
That's why I don't like it.
So then I didn't. I'm like, this is stupid. I deleted it off the system.
Just got to play it more. Yeah.
And then a couple years later, a couple seasons later, whatever it was, they started doing the Marvel characters. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna jump on there because they downloaded it and I seen what they were doing, and they had all the Marvel characters on there. Like, you play or let's see, who the heck was it? It was Transformers, right? Was it Transformers or Marvel?
Nice.
So Magneto.
Was it Thor the first one or no?
It was
Was
when I
that?
got you to play for the first time. Was that era?
There was Thor, Groot, Storm, Iron Man.
Yeah, and then you had,
Wolverine.
the challenges were cool because you'd have to go to a certain town and talk to a certain person to unlock a certain challenge, and then you'd get like a skin
Side quest thing.
or some kind of a thing. I remember.
Kind of like Chapter 2, Season 2. There's certain quests you have to do to unlock Deadpool. Get his extra styles. I think on PlayStation I walked into the photo booth and unlocked Deadpool there. It was over by the top corner of the map. Yeah.
So this is what happened with Matthew. There's a guy I know from the YouTube. His son played PC Fortnite, and this is like a couple years ago when I was just throwing up random videos on Fortnite on YouTube. Well, my buddy's son said he was watching the videos and said I sucked. So I'm like, well, you got to play against my son because at the time he was doing pretty good, you know. So you got to. So he wanted to challenge his son against my son. So they put us in a game. What was that game? Remember?
30-player Zone Wars.
And so the storm is closing in on you, and everybody's it's like a free for all kind
It's
of thing.
basically a fast forward Zone War game.
And it was only us three though, right?
Maybe with Sheen.
I think it was only us three. Were you in there too?
I know there's one that we played.
I think so. But anyways, he's destroying us because he's on. And I tried to tell him, Matthew, I'm like, Matthew, he's on the PC. They can move a lot faster. They have like instant builds, so they build their whole entire house within a split second, and then they can do 5 of them in a split second. So he's getting butthurt over this because he's getting his butt whooped, and he's good, like he's really good, but he's never played against a computer guy before like that. So that set a fire on his butt to get better. So like that. So for the next year, that's all he did was like just get insanely better with it, and now it, just to watch him, I'm like, when he's sitting there building all these things and going, bzzz, and I guess his friends say he's like the fastest controller builder that they've ever seen. So, anyways,
But now that they added simple edit, I am hating it.
oh, I don't know what that is.
All you just have to do is click a button and it's already edited.
Well, see, that's what I was trying to tell you. That's what the computer people were doing. That's why he was so fast.
Now you have to use the mouse to.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you can do a lot of things a lot quicker.
Yeah,
mouse
with the
and controller.
computer,
Like
yeah,
keyboard and mouse, you can do a lot more stuff because it's just click and point.
So last Christmas,
shooters.
that's what he wanted. So we got him a keyboard and mouse, and he didn't end up liking it. So he's stuck with the controller. But anyway, so how is it transitioning from Fortnite to Black Ops 6? Do you like it? Is it harder? Is it easier? I don't know what other questions you think is in there.
Because they're shooters,
they're shooters, but there's different styles to them. So
the core, they're shooters, but there's different styles.
I mean, he like when he's the first game he played, even though he was still learning it, he destroyed it. Like he just went insane. Like I don't even know if he came in first, but he had all these kills, and so it was like immediately just like that he picked right up on it. But then after 2 or 3 games, then he was like fine tuning it. He started getting his weapons figured out. He started getting the boards figured out. Then you can see like, so now me and him are like wrestling for first and second place all the time.
That's for sure.
So what do you think? Do you like Black Ops 6 or do you like Fortnite better still?
I like COD 6 because of the gameplay.
Okay.
I like the difficulty. It makes a good challenge.
Yeah. And depending on if the servers are running right or not, that's what makes.
I haven't had a problem with the servers.
Yeah. See, I don't understand people that do that because I also there complain left to right because like, and then I'll watch the replay, and I know I put 4 shots in the person, but when you watch the replay, there's like just a little tiny bit of a splatter. It's because I'm running 3 seconds behind what's actually going on my side of the server because it's 2 lines that are running simultaneously like this, but mine is like this. These guys are here and I'm right here. So when you're playing the game like that, it doesn't work because you're 3 seconds behind what's actually going on over here. Yeah. So that's what's happening with me a lot. So maybe it could be my internet connection, and maybe you just have a better one because you're closer to the router. I have no idea. But if I get into a good server, I can tell because all my hits are dead on, they're spot on, and I'm just destroying people. Like I'm getting 7, 8 hit like kill streaks all the time, and then I'm usually in first or second, and now I'm fighting with him between first or second. So you think you're going to continue with Black Ops 6, or you're always going to go back to Fortnite? Probably because you're friends, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually when I'm bored, I just get off and do whatever. But when I'm actually enjoying it, it's fun.
Yeah. All right, so this question is going to be for you guys because you guys are kind of grew up in this time era. So you guys remember those little gaming watches back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remember them? What do you think about them?
Did
you guys own any? Did you guys know anybody that owned any?
I had stuff that was like, the whole Tiger Electronics digital, I'm talking about those. That's basically what we were talking about, like the little watches.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like this, they had a Mario one, they had a Zelda one, they had Tetris or no? I can't remember.
Well, at the time, it was like so. It wouldn't be anything that would be considered like nowadays. Looking at even from that standard, like a little black looking digital character that's like moving very and playing.
Yeah.
It was that kind of. That's why Tiger Electronics always makes me think of, because they did stuff like that. But like the watch itself, I'm trying to think if I had anything like that. No, I had the Tiger Electronics stuff that was basically like that too, which was really. If you look at back now, it's like so cheesy. But back then, you're just like happy to play anything.
Yeah, because
what it was.
I remember I had a friend that had the calculator watch, and then I had some friends that had the Mario.
The racer. It's kind of like this.
I don't know. It was a Mario. It was a Mario watch, and you could play Mario Brothers on it somehow digitally.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's something that we never had because I think it was like $180 for the stupid thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was way too expensive.
Yeah.
I remember my friends having them, like they'd bring them to school, and then the teacher would take them away because because we all would take turns. Some of us would lean it over playing on this.
Yep, the new thing.
You gotta be paying attention in school.
Yeah. So, I got a couple. I got a couple of trivia questions. So we're gonna move into the trivia real quick here, and then
Old school or
the trivia questions.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just random, all mixed. Some you may know, some you may not. I'm only gonna do half of them because I'm gonna save the rest of the questions, the rest of the trivia for when you leave. We're gonna do another one.
Okay.
Hopefully, if you're up to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because my sister's coming over around
15
noon
minutes.
to drop off of bed, so we're gonna take a break here shortly. So we're trying to wrap this up.
Dun.
Oh, there's Marcus. So anyways, let's get into the trivia, and then we'll shut her down for the time being. Okay. So in 2015, the first 6 games were introduced into the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Can you name at least one of them?
for what?
One?
Yeah, at least one of them.
Super Mario Brothers. You gotta be one of them.
In 2015, the first 6 games were introduced into the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Can you name at least one of them?
Super Mario Brothers has gotta be one of them.
Tetris.
Can you think of any? Any old school ones you know?
Donkey Kong.
All right, so we got Pong, Tetris, Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers,
I forgot about Pac-Man.
Doom, and World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of stuff because of online gaming and people playing.
Did people used to go on there and get stuff and sell it?
Yeah.
For what?
Oh, yeah.
Items. You get an item.
Yeah,
and
you
then
build
it's
up a
on
character.
eBay.
Yeah, you build up a character.
What game is it?
World of Warcraft.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, you build up a character. I still remember that famous video where everybody's talking about the strategy to go fight this boss, and this guy got up from his computer, and he didn't even know that they were doing. Then he comes back, he goes, "Okay, let's do this, Leroy Jenkins," and then he goes running in, and everybody's like, "No, no, no, no!" And everybody ended up getting wiped out and killed.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
one,
that
yeah.
it went viral because
Yeah.
everybody's like talking over strategy. Okay, we need to do this because
Yep,
there's only certain time of day you
You
can
see
play
that?
the guys.
We're gonna have to find it.
No,
And the
it's gonna be a
guy got up from the computer and went to the bathroom. Then he comes
It's
back.
hilarious.
And he goes, Leroy, okay, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins, and he goes running it. And we're like, no, 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 and everybody got wiped out by the boss.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes forever to get to that point.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
right.
only do a certain time
Yeah.
of day, certain boss battles or certain things. You gotta
Yeah.
have a bunch of people and
And
strategy.
he
Oh my
he
God.
He
just
just upended
oh,
everybody's
that'd be
strategy. He just went in there guns blazing.
Tell me, Leroy, who's the master?
Leroy Jenkins, and he blew
Oh,
it.
no.
Yeah, it's just like I remember seeing that. I'm like, that's really that went viral
Oh boy.
back in the day.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right, let's see.
Got to go. You know.
What this
do
one
what
you
you
guys
gotta
are
do.
you guys
Go.
might know this one. What 1996 video game kicked off a long-running film and game franchise and elevated the horror genre
Resident Evil.
of video games into the mainstream?
Resident Evil.
Second.
Resident Evil. We don't know what that is. I've never seen it.
I had that game for when it came out for PlayStation. I beat it both because Jill Valentine had a different layout of what you had to do through the game compared to Chris Redfield.
Raccoon.
And then you had that Raccoon City in the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that and then
Yeah,
Resident Evil 2 even took it farther on the original
I remember
PlayStation with
people playing
two
it.
different things. Yeah, it would freak my because there's some scary stuff in there. But my friend Mike would come over and he'd try to play it. And you're freaked out because it's like the different things that would happen. But yeah,
Well, they changed it all because I remember, say Doom, where you have first person, say it's a monster, but it's like, okay, this is like no big. But then here we all.
Yeah,
It's
Resident
actually
Evil had a
cinematic.
different strategy with how to play the game. You had to get items and build up weapons and then
survival.
survival stuff, and you had different enemies. It's like there's a reason why that franchise is still around and they went the direction they did making the remakes.
Yeah.
Because it's some of the best games ever made at this point. Like Resident Evil 4 is still considered.
I don't like those type of games as much, but at the same time, it was a major thing when I had PC just with Diablo.
I was never into zombies. That was my biggest thing. So every time my dad would bring up a zombies game, I would just be like, eh.
There's a lot more stuff in there than the zombies. Zombies just is the base thing for that game, and then it goes from all these other
Plants vs.
things
Zombies?
in there.
And then I mean, I did like the old arcade, like when you go to put your quarters in, you grab a gun and shoot the zombies, and
that's
I love that stuff. But when it came
that's
to
that Sega game, House of the Dead. House of the Dead was that
Okay.
series that you're talking about.
I mean, I think that I wonder if that gun is what goes to it because the gun is, I think it
like
goes
gun
to
shooter,
the arcade version of whatever it
House
is.
House of the Dead had the zombies.
It might
That's
be
House of the
that
Dead
because
games.
I think that's something
They
that
did
my
a
dad
franchise
gave
of
me for Christmas, and he gave me the game and the gun at the same time.
Wow.
I have to look through everything. 'Cause I don't know, but I think that's what it was. Because there's a lot of times when he was into a game, then he would get the same stuff for me to play,
so you can play.
so we play together or play. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, let's see. What Nintendo console was codenamed NX while under development?
64.
Super Nintendo.
See, I don't know how far that goes
Off the
back.
head.
I know there's other stuff that they named. Maybe the Wii. It's never be that.
Any other guesses?
Sweet. I don't know. I'm going with
You're
Nintendo.
in the right era. It's the Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that
It was off the hip. I
around
was taking
there.
a
I thought it was
guess.
one of the newer ones. I thought.
I guess that would be. Alright, ladies, you thirsty?
You're gonna pick up your drinking.
So yeah, that was good. That was a good hangout today.
Oh,
good,
yeah,
good
definitely.
chit chat and a lot of good topics we discussed on. And
Absolutely.
thank you guys for being here, and thank you for making your appearance, your introduction to the Game Chat and Chill. Next time, hopefully, you have more to say. Well, hopefully, next time I'll have more questions related to you. Things that you'd have to, things that you'd better be, better answer. Things that would be. What am I trying to say?
On the spot.
I'm
No,
not
things
the
that
best when it comes to talking.
Well, things that you would.
Have more knowledge of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind
Like more modern gaming
yeah.
than the old.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff that we talk about is older stuff and stuff you haven't
all the way
experienced
up,
yet.
yeah, all the way up stuff, yeah.
So I mean, you'll get there little by little. But anyways, if you guys like what you're seeing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share it out. Come check us out on Facebook. And we have a page called One Eyed Truck and Gaming. And eventually we're going to get email set up, which I still haven't done that yet. I plan on it. But if you need to get a hold of us for any reason, you can contact us through the Facebook Messenger there. If you have any questions, any suggestions, feel free to ask. Any tips, tricks, or whatever, feel free to send us messages. And don't forget, guys, just keep gaming.
Yeah. Awesome.
And with some people upside there had to explode.
Ah.
Because that's one of the things that I don't believe should get political.